We are in Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly, or a different shape, if that's what feels good. Maybe putting some props underneath the outer thighs, and or your head, your neck, even the upper back if you want to create more of a chest opener. And you can lick your lips, swallow, allowing each exhale to be that opportunity to soften and give into gravity a little more. Scanning from your head to your toes. And then back again. Notice where you can do a little less. And surrender a little more. And that can include a horse breath or two. Potentially licking your lips, swallowing between rounds. And if you're just landing in butterflies, stay a little longer. If you're feeling like it's that time to move, maybe you've been here for more than a minute, easing your knees toward each other. Compress with the hands or just work the legs. Let your knees be bent, feet flat, palms to your own belly, your chest, feeling that rise and fall of your breath. And gently rock your head from side to side, taking that no from left to right 2-3 times each way. And as your head comes to neutral, observing that rise and fall once again. Thinking of the quality of a wave, the ocean sound, as well as this idea of being full, expanding, and then being empty, contracting. And do take that with you, palms to the earth. Just cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Starting nice and easy, press with the right hand on the inner right thigh a few times, oiling up that right hip, specifically the right glute in piriformis. And after you've pressed the thigh away 2, 3, 4 times, keep it there. Pick up your left foot. Could be as easy as putting it on a block, as big as reaching all the way beyond the thigh to your shin. Somewhere in between if that's best for you. Good, relax your face, relax your shoulders. Maybe walk your hands a little closer toward the foot, toward the upper ankle. And from there, relax everything else back down, surrendering completely. And then a few more breaths to just let the stretch happen. If you are doing a lot of sitting, whether it's in a plane, train, at your desk, or even a lot of challenging exercise, especially things like inclines, running, hiking up hills, etc. These particular muscles tend to need it most. A little more mobility work, range of motion. Feet will come down, balance the hips and waist when you're ready. And then take your time with all of that on the other side. So first just crossing the left ankle. The right hand could help root the right hip down. The left hand eases the inner left thigh away from the midline. Playing with that a few times on your own. Kind of oiling up this region. Keep that left thigh traveling away from you. Pick up the right foot. Could be as easy as putting it on a block. You could, of course, reach to the thigh or beyond to the shin. And then subtle adjustments of the fingers, the face. Maybe this is where you use a pillow under your head and neck so you're not cranking in the shoulders. And then continue to use that elbow or hand to pry the left thigh away. Breathing out what needs to go. Physical stuff, often it's emotional energy, things that may feel stagnant. Getting it moving, whatever that looks like, tears, laughter, do what you can to embrace it. Feet will come to the floor. Balance your hips and waist. Take an inhale through the nose. And an exhale through your mouth. Maybe a horse breath, maybe a simple sigh. One more time. Draw the knees in. Hands at your shins or the backs of the hamstrings. Tuck the chin. Hold a yes movement once or twice. Keeping that subtle tuck, you'll start to rock and roll. First, it might be little ones. If it's too much, take it to the side instead. And after 2 or 3 little boats, see if you can start to build toward a full Navasana. Finding that straighter legged boat potentially. And maybe even the straighter armed boat, adding sails. Reaching without shrugging. Trying to lift from the mid-upper back. Maybe another exhale or two, drawing the navel in as you breathe out. And then tap the toes down. Hands on shins or thighs, sit tall. Big inhale through your nose. And let it go either through the mouth or nose. Now crisscross legs if you want to grab a throne. Seems like a good idea. Get what you need. Little or big, so our hip flexors feel the benefits of that, right? Knees maybe even with hips or a little lower than hips. Rock and sway it out. Add some tightening of that crossing, brightening of the toes. And do flow right into some circles, Sufi grinds here. Taking it 2, 3, 4 times one way. Arching with the inhalation, rounding with your exhalation. And you can reverse at any point in that Sufi grind, finding some fluidity. If there's a lot of rigidity, add breath. Maybe slow it down at first or explore speeding it up if that feels better. And you can always return to that first side or repeat both once again. Changing directions. Feeling your way through it, maybe scanning from the sit bones to the crown. And back down again, extending that all the way into the toes, again, brightening your actual feet, the toe joints, tightening the crossing, so maybe it's somewhere around the mid or upper shin. And once you've established all of that, let's take the arms wide. For a few breaths, rotating one shoulder, one arm at a time, spinning that arm up, and then switching it, rotating it down. Breathing in, breathing out. You can always peek at the arm that is currently facing downward at first. And maybe at the arm that is facing upward, which is a little more challenging, following that. If that's just too much coordination in this moment, I get it, right? Do your best to breathe, whatever you're doing. Creating space, most importantly, you'll take the arms up. And kind of like you're just stretching freely, yawning, waking up. It might actually be first thing in the morning. Maybe you took a nap. But enjoying that feeling, that quality, that reset. Let your fingers float all the way down. Switch the crossing. At first, take a little rock, sway. Forward, back, right, left. Returning to the circular movement, Sufi grinds, maybe starting the way you didn't last time, or that you just often don't. Flowing a little faster or a bit more slowly based on the information you have. Maybe for you it's about reversing direction lots of times. Or easing into a certain spot, just breathing through that tension, helping it to go. And do become very specific about the difference in sharp pain versus the often intense but more achy stuff. If it's sharp, it's generally your nervous system, your body asking you to back off, listen to that, see if you can approach the shape differently, or maybe that's something you skip entirely today. Eventually, following your Sufi grind, you'll bring your palms toward the heart, rub your hands rapidly, building some heat. And then take that into interlacing fingers, press your hands forward, plug your shoulders back. Do keep sitting tall, noticing any tendency to pitch forward or back. Feel the natural curves in your spine as you take your arms up. Add a breath or two, wrapping pinkies back, thumbs forward, trying not to let your chin jut forward as you do. Maybe your arms get just a little bit straighter. One more inhale. Exhale, split the arms toward that low T-like shape. Bring your wrists to where you can just barely see them with your peripheral vision. And do look to the right or left first, but reach the opposite way. And then changing it up. Expanding from the middle of the chest outward into the inner palms, inner hands. Head to neutral, flip it. Forearms up, fingers down. And again, flowing through that movement, creating space where it's often needed most. Easing head and neck to neutral if you haven't. Inhale. Exhale, float the fingers down. Take a recovery breath or two. Maybe lick your lips, swallow, sigh, horse style, or even a big lion roar. Scrunch it up. Let it out. Tongue can point down, eyes up. One more time. And then eventually push yourself forward, taking it to all fours. Just for a moment, rock, sway, set yourself up. Hands shoulder width or a little wider. Fingers bright. Curl the toes. Do lift your hips and start to press to a down dog. And this can turn into lots of calf stretching, neck stretching. You can add a few of those bigger sighs, those animal-inspired breaths. And after exploring your down dog for those 30 plus seconds on your own, you'll walk your hands all the way back to meet your toes. Clasp your elbows. And just sway a little side to side, soothing your nervous system. And of course, stretching the lower back, the glutes, the hamstrings, etc. Switch which hands on top if you didn't. And if your elbows are chilling right at your shins, pull them slightly forward and down. Then let your hands follow. Bend your knees a lot. Let's start to roll it up. Or do lengthen to lift if it's better in your lower back today. Standing tall, deep breath in. Choose to let something up and out. Just a little rock, sway, right, left, forward, back. Hands can return to your belly, your chest, or just relaxed by your sides. Feeling this quality of grounding yourself through the four corners. And in turn, rooting and rebounding through the arches, your ankles, your quads. Let that travel into your belly, your heart, the very top of your head. If you're still rocking and swaying, let that slow down. And while we call it stillness, you'll feel prana, life force flowing. We're never completely still. On the inhale, reach the arms, take it all the way up. Cactus shape, exhale, bend the elbows, brighten fingers. Inhale, we're reaching, stretch it up. Lead with the heart, diving, take it down. Inhale, do find that half lift, flatten the back. And exhale, do fold. Inhale, root and rebound, take it up, maybe gaze up. And exhale, hands come down. Again, half salute with cactus. You inhale. You exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Moving at your own rhythm, or of course following along when helpful. And as you complete this particular half salute, hands will come down, chin will come down, big ol' sigh or an animal inspired sound. And then do roll out your head, your neck. Taking your time with it, as small as half circles, as big, of course, as full circles. Any crossover of the hand to opposite shoulder, give it some extra love. What do you need to do to help prana to keep flowing, to break up the scar tissue, the lactic acid, all the stress and stuff that can feel stagnant? And then finishing that up, chin toward chest, maybe rolling it back down. If it's helpful, you can lengthen and then release. Stay in the fold, peek at the feet, see that they're hip bone distance parallel. Maybe bend, re-extend the knees, shy of locking the legs, feel the difference. Maybe pick up your toes, brighten them, feel your skin stretch. And then as slow as you can go, walk to your down dog. Couple of breaths to get into it. And then we are going to move toward yoga style push-ups. So you're flowing forward, maybe into a modified plank for this one, and even for the next several. Exhale, elbows graze the midline, taking it roughly halfway. Keep that line, inhale, push up. You can stay grounded, pull it back, down dog or puppy dog. As mentioned, take it forward, maybe stick in with the modification, no big deal. You could try thighs lifted, and if you want to stay with it, great. If not, go back to the other, lower halfway. Inhale, we pick it up. Exhale, you're pressing it back. So moving through that at least once or twice more. If you're feeling it, you have the energy to do 3, 4, 5 more, groovy. If you're thinking, what's the other alternative? Child's pose or puppy dog. Puppy dog, also known as anahata, is about opening up the chest, the heart center. Forehead can travel to the earth, massaging the mind's eye. And maybe this is it, you're staying here. Maybe from puppy dog or child's pose, you're taking another stretch now for the side body, helping to breathe a little deeper. Left hand on top of right, or just side by side. And just spend a moment, 20, 30, 40 seconds being in it. Going further, just letting it be enough. And then following those 3 or 4 breaths there, take it over to the other side. Taking 2 or so to get there, 2, 3 more just to be. Not assuming, staying curious, check in. And then bring it all back to neutral. Sit back on the heels, inhale, roll it up slow. And a big exhale at the top. And then just circle your wrists a few times each way. If you need more assistance, take the wrist in one hand, then the other. Help it. Maybe weave fingers, make that big circle, spaghetti and meatballs. Going each direction a few times. Little this, that. If it's tricky for coordination, maybe that's good for the brain right now, waking certain areas up. Any extra shakes, shimmies. And if you're feeling it, option for one more set. So 3, 4, 5 plus yoga style push-ups. If just a simple plank or 2 is a better idea, groovy. Building strength with integrity, not strain or stress. Let it be a 2 to 3 breath sequence or series per repetition. And again, you're doing that maybe 3, 4, 5 times. As long as you can keep that long line of energy from the heels to the crown of the head. Or maybe the tailbone to the crown if knees are down. And to eventually walk your hands back to toes. If you're doing that 5th, 6th push-up, enjoy it. Not feeling rushed. We'll be here a moment. Sliding hands behind the head and neck. Give that region some love, some massaging. Or just a little extra pressure here, helping you to fold. To intentionally relax the mind's eye between the eyebrows. The jaw, maybe licking lips, swallowing, horse breathing. Let that travel into the front ribs, especially as you exhale. Hands can float to the floor. Or maybe hold your calves, pull yourself in for another sigh or two. Sliding hands all the way up the leg to the hips, elbows toward the sky. Lift halfway and stay for the exhale. And then root and rebound. Inhale to come all the way up. And take a big exhale at the top. Add a few easy shoulder rolls. As simple as shrugging and then melting them back and down. Or maybe do one at a time. Maybe reverse direction. Any combo for a couple more breaths. Then consider peace fingers helping your head to stack over your shoulders. Feeling that space across the heart center. Helping shoulders to stack over hips. Feeling that lift through the hip points, that length through the base of the pelvis. You can also bend, re-extend knees, hands floating the thighs to feel the difference in locking and engaging. Work the ladder. Maybe rock, sway, brightening the feet, the toes. Thinking of that balance between the 4 corners, helping to ground you. And bring your hands to your heart, pushing the whole palm, the palms, or just the finger pads. Add a shoulder roll or two, helping to notice what really works. Can you feel your inner shoulder blades moving toward the heart? Feel your collarbones broadening. And for several inhales and exhales, just letting this make its impression. As simple as standing tall, mountain pose, or samastitihi, even standing posture. But in so many ways, the entire point of the yoga asana. Can I find more balance through the body, through the breath? Maybe going a little deeper by setting an intention. Letting that guide you when you're on and off your mat. And if it does help, think of breathing that intention in. And letting the exhale be a vehicle to breathe out any doubt, any fear, anything sitting around the intention, anything that is blurry, to increase the clarity, the focus. And if it needs to evolve or shift, allow for it. Just continuing to check in, to scan, so you really notice what your needs are. One more big inhale, standing tall. And that complete exhale connecting from the front to the back, the core of you.